April 6th. I beat Algernon. I didn't even know I beat him until Bert the tester told me. Then the second time I lost because I got so excited I fell off the chair before I finished. But after that, I beat him 8 more times. I must be getting smart to beat a smart mouse like Algernon. But I don't feel smarter. I wanted to race Algernon some more, but Bert said, "That's enough for one day." They let me hold him for a minute. He's not so bad. He's like a soft ball of cotton. He blinks, and when he opens his eyes, they're black and pink on the edges. I said, "Can I feed him?" because I felt bad to beat him, and I wanted to be nice and make friends. Bert said no. Algernon is a very special mouse with an operation like mine, and he was the first of all the animals to stay smart so long. He told me Algernon is so smart that every day he has to solve a test to get his food. It's a thing like a lock on a door that changes every time Algernon goes in to eat. So he has to learn something new to get his food. That makes me sad because if he couldn't learn, he would be hungry. I don't think it's right to make you pass a test to eat. How would Dr. Niemer like it to have to pass a test every time he wants to eat? I think I'll be friends with Algernon. April 9. Tonight after work, Miss Kinnian was at the laboratory. She looked like she was glad to see me, but scared. I told her, "Don't worry, Miss Kinnian, I'm not smart yet," and she laughed. She said, "I have confidence in you, Charlie. The way you struggled so hard to read and write better than all the others. At worst, you will have it for a little while, and you're doing something for science." We are reading a very hard book. I never read such a hard book before. It's called Robinson Crusoe, about a man who gets marooned on a desert island. He's smart and figures out all kinds of things so he can have a house and food, and he's a good swimmer. Only I feel sorry because he's all alone and has no friends. But I think there must be somebody else on the island because there's a picture with his funny umbrella looking at footprints. I hope he gets a friend and not be lonely. April 10. Miss Kinnian teaches me to spell better. She says, "Look at a word and close your eyes and say it over and over until you remember." I have lots of trouble with through, that you say through, and enough and tough, that you don't say enu and two. You got to say enough and tough. That's how I used to write it before I started to get smart. I'm confused, but Miss Kinnian says there's no reason in spelling. April 14th. Finished Robinson Crusoe. I want to find out more about what happens to him, but Miss Kinnian says that's all there is. Why? Miss Kinnian says I'm learning fast. She read some of the progress reports, and she looked at me kind of funny. She says, "I'm a fine person, and I'll show them all." I asked her why. She said, "Never mind, but I shouldn't feel bad if I find out that everybody isn't nice like I think." She said, "For a person who God gave so little to, you done more than a lot of people with brains they never even used." I said, "All my friends are smart people, but they're good. They like me, and they never did anything that wasn't nice." Then she got something in her eye, and she had to run to the ladies' room. April 16. Today, I learned the comma. This is a comma, a period, with a tail. Miss Kinnian says it's important because it makes writing better. She said somebody could lose a lot of money if a comma isn't in the right place. I don't have any money, and I don't see how a comma keeps you from losing it, but she says everybody uses commas, so I'll use them too. April 17th. I used the comma wrong. It's punctuation. Miss Kinnian told me to look up long words in the dictionary to learn to spell them. I said, "What's the difference if you can read it anyway?" She says it's part of your education. So now on, I'll look up all the words I'm not sure how to spell. It takes a long time to write that way, but I think I'm remembering. I only have to look up once, and after that, I get it right. Anyway, that's how come I got the word punctuation right. It's in the dictionary that way. Miss Kinnian says a period is punctuation too, and there are lots of other marks to learn. I told her I thought all the periods had to have tails, but she said no. You got to mix them up. She showed me how to mix them up, and now I can mix up all kinds of punctuation in my writing. There are lots of rules to learn, but I'm getting them in my head. One thing I like about Dear Miss Kinnian, that's the way it goes in a business letter if I ever go into business, is she always gives me a reason when I ask. She's a genius. I wish I could be smart like her. Punctuation is fun. April 18th. What a dope I am. I didn't even understand what she was talking about. I read the grammar book last night and it explains the whole thing. Then I saw it was the same way as Miss Kinnian was trying to tell me, but I didn't get it. I got up in the middle of the night and the whole thing straightened out in my mind. Miss Kinnian said that the working TV in my sleep helped out. She said I reached a plateau. That's like the flat top of a hill. After I figured out how punctuation worked, I read over all my old progress reports from the beginning. Boy, did I have crazy spelling and punctuation. I told Miss Kinnian I ought to go over the pages and fix all the mistakes, but she said, "No, Charlie, Dr. Niemer wants them just as they are. That's why he let you keep them after they were photostated, to see your own progress. You're coming along fast, Charlie." And that made me feel good. After the lesson, I went down and played with Algernon. We don't race anymore.